Welcome back to the 2014 North American Challenger Series playoffs. We're just about set for Game 2 between Complexity Red and Complexity Black. Before we get into the game, make sure your safety harness is securely fastened, because if this game is anything like the first one, we're going to be in for a fast and furious ride, Irene.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest games that we've seen in the Challenger Series.
Yeah.
A 4-minute and 22-second inhibitor turret, a 22-minute Baron. It was a dominant performance by Complexity Black from start to finish. And remember, they dominated every Challenger team they played besides LMQ in the first Challenger Series, and then in the second one, they had to forfeit. So we haven't seen much from them lately. And this last game, it looked like they had something to prove. And I have to say, I think they proved it.
It makes sense. If Complexity Black can prove it one more time, they'll advance to the semifinals and move within one series of the Summer Promotion Tournament. Big stuff.
Oh, yeah. And this is a must-win for Complexity Red. If they lose, they are out of the playoffs, and they have to wait for the Challenger Summer Series for another shot at the promo tournament. That's a long way away.
It is a long way away. Not many teams really like to stick together through that. But when you see that they have Cloud9,
yes,
big things can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Good things come to those who wait.
And when I say it's a long way, it's not a long way to play in that tournament, but it's a long way to get into the LCS because we take a break after the summer.
The break of the post. We'll see what everybody can do, get themselves ready for the next one. Coming into these games, however, we are in the playoff match here for the Challenger Series. Complexity Red, I don't even know if they had a chance to falter in the first game. Complexity Black was just on point. They played a very good game, and Complexity Red was trying to adapt the whole time. I think the way the game happened, the Amumu pick hurt them in that sense. I'm sure NK Inc. has a great Amumu, but the way the game played out, it was not a game for Amumu.
Oh, yeah.
It was a sad mummy.
Even sadder than normal.
Even sadder than usual.
Just
Some
devastated.
Soggy rags.
Devastated mummy. So that game, Complexity Black saw the pick, and they said, all right, this is our game to dictate the pace of. And they were like, all right, this is going to be a turret pushing game. Amumu can't win that.
Yeah.
He just flat out cannot. Most other junglers do decently. Amumu just cannot push turrets. No auto attack reset, no attack speed increase. It's just very, very sad. And especially since it's the top turret, you cannot push that thing. It's got that extra resistances before 8 minutes.
They strongly put themselves in that position too, and then continue to push it, seeing it happening. Like we said, adaptation is going to be a big one. On the fly for Complexity Red this game. Now being on the blue side may favor them a little bit more. They get to kind of mentality play with picks and bans here.
Yeah, they were Complexity Red on red side last time. It didn't work out. Now we'll have to see if it's really the switch up that does it for them.
Complexity Purple.
Red just mixing
blue.
colors now. Then they could be any side and it wouldn't matter.
Well, we still use purple, so I can't. Dang.
That's true.
Kha'Zix Illusion being taken out right now. None of that hard carry for the lane that Impactful would be putting up in that bully of Lucian early game. Or Kha'Zix slicing your face off from NK Inc. They don't want him having a pivotal jungler. The Amumu may not have looked that good, but they still respect NK Inc. as a jungler. They know he can do big things.
And here's the standard bans coming out. I was going to say, I think it's Elise in because it's a contested pick, and we had high on the desk saying our picks are different depending on who we play against.
Yeah.
Because whatever somebody else prioritizes and you're good with that champion, if that's their number one and you're number two, pick it. Because you force them on a number two to meet you on that.
That's
and
right.
You make them uncomfortable on
figuring out the notebook.
Yeah.
They can help every team spread the word.
The Notebook, huh? I just thought of the movie starring Lemonation. What do you want to pick? Tell me what you want.
Pick it all.
It's not that simple.
Westrice and Brokenshard with Thresh and Caitlyn lane. Looks like they knew exactly what they wanted to pick. Safety on top of safety for a long-range lane. What can they answer with? Complexity Black kind of showing what ROBERTxLEE can really win a lane with. May see why the Lucian was banned out there.
And if he picks the Ezreal, he's going to say, and he does, he's like, I'm going to play what you played last game and show you how it's done. So he's going to play Ezreal into Caitlyn, and I don't think that Complexity... Actually, no, it's the same. Sorry, they swapped sides.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. So he's going to play the same thing and say, I can actually do well on that champion against your Caitlyn. So
I like
a high priority there.
I also like the switch up where this might actually be Prawley's Annie because he has run Annie in the LCS. It was actually, I believe, one of the first few games he played when he was on Complexity, and he said, I just wanted to. It was fun. And he did so well. So that's actually a little bit of a flex pick coming in for Complexity Red.
It could be Prawley's if it was on his side.
Right.
I hate that. They're both Complexity. So I think Complexity's going to win this game. I would bet on that.
That's such a good call.
It's so...
they got you on
it got me too.
It got me. I was thinking of what you were saying.
Oh, I threw you off.
We're back in. You guys did not hear that.
Welcome to Champions Select, guys. Getting in here.
Probably and ROBERTxLEE locking in the Elise. We've actually still seen teams hovering towards Elise despite the little hits she's had. But Westrice getting the Jax again. It's not like they're not paying respect to it, but what are you going to band out? It's kind of like the worst of the worst are banned out, and there's still the worst left.
Yeah, there's still a lot left on the table here, and Complexity Red saved their top lane pick here, and it could be Renekton into Jax. It works very well. You can go ahead and use Ruthless Predator while he's using Counter-Strike. He'll still stun him and you can get away, but Jax will outscale him eventually, and I don't know if Complexity Red want to go with such an early game-based team with the Lee Sin in the jungle too. So have a lot of thinking to do here and a lot to hash out, but I like Brokenshard once again on Elise. I pretty much like Brokenshard on every champion, unless he's going to play something that's a little unorthodox. Yeah. His Pantheon's really solid. His Lee Sin is great. Then he also has Elise. His Vi is good. His, just all around. His Kha'Zix too. He's a fantastic jungler in the challenger scene. Right. I'd say definitely one of the top 2.
Well, the junglers, like you said, the Elise was the Lee Sin was that first pick priority, and Brokenshard does not get it this game. Seeing the pick of Orianna coming back in as well. A little scary because of all, not gap closers, but the dashes that this team can use to get out. Fragnatic was already having trouble trying to get those shockwaves to land, and now you got guys that can repel, jump out, caliber net out. It's going to be really hard to hit. He played against LeBlanc last game, so he feels confident that he can hit those dashers and gap closers, but it makes it even more difficult. It's got to be super spot on.
He wasn't having too much success, and Orianna is one of those champions you want to farm up with.
Yeah.
And basically, you can go 0-0-0, hit the 30-minute mark, and then join a team fight, and it's like, whoa, where did all of that damage come from? Because she scales so well.
Around people.
Yeah.
Just dance.
And when you get a shockwave, you're automatically going to land your dissonance too. So it's just that much damage stacked on top of each other. And so the final pick coming out here was the Syndra, which we saw from Erickson earlier today.
We did. So I wondered when that would happen.
Saw a great Syndra today. Saw a great Orianna today. They have a lot to go ahead and try to impress us with here, because our expectations are high.
A bar to hit and shoes to fill in general. So Brokenshard goes with the Elise, something that he can get in the face of NK Inc. with, but this, I believe, gives NK Inc. Like I said last time, he was playing the Moo. You don't really outplay somebody with a Moo. He tried to one time and kind of bandage toss after he stole the blue to get away or flash out, but he didn't. Now on Lee Sin, those impact plays can actually happen for him, and I think the team gets a little more confidence from that too, knowing that they're not going to have to follow a Moo in just because he bandage tossed. They can get Lee Sin there, safe, get a kick out, get the engagement for themselves this time and not against themselves.
Yeah, and the ball delivery system is probably going to be Lee Sin or Renekton. That's really your only options.
Yeah, but they have to use that this time. I think it'd be good.
But they have an Annie too. So Annie can go ahead and line up the engagement with a flash Tibbers. Gives you enough time if you're reacting right on point and you are on the same page to go ahead and throw your ball in there and get a shockwave. You don't necessarily need a ball carry system, but I like team composition here a little more for Complexity Red. I think that lane swapping is not in their favor at all. And then Complexity Black going with the Syndra in the mid lane, probably bringing out that champion that's, you know, not regarded as an A, like S-tier champion in the mid lane. Like, he was always like that too. He's like, I'm going to play Annie mid. I'm going to play Ziggs mid. And that's like, actually, Ziggs mid is fantastic. And now he's like, I'm going to play Syndra. And maybe with Erickson on the back of that too, might turn out to be another great champion. Probably's got that little crystal ball. He knows what's coming up.
Well, looking at this matchup, that was beautiful to leave probably last pick. I mean, you're on the red side. Usually you do that. Leave your mid lane up to counter the entire team or somebody else that's going to make the impact plays. But looking at the matchup between Syndra and Ori, I just feel like that's such a counter for her, because you walk up to move your ball, which takes time, and boom, there's a ball on you. Boom, there's a ball on you.
And it's not yours.
You want to move it. You really have to play the my ball's already out and I'm zoning with it all the time instead of keeping the shield on you, which is then even scarier as well, because you want that shield right away. Yeah. I feel like it's going to be a pretty cool matchup in the mid lane, and I'd be interested to see if Fragnatic can actually take that.
It's pretty ballsy in the mid lane right there. We're going to have to go at each other, see who comes out on top.
We will.
And Syndra can blow up Orianna. She does have the shield, though, and the clockwork wind up. So in early trades, if you can get it, then it goes with Orianna just a bit. But in terms of team fighting, Orianna definitely comes out on top in just a flat. And you see that Fragnatic is afraid and takes the barrier out of respect for the ultimate from Syndra.
That's true. He does take it. One of the strongest ultimates coming in at level 6. Besides Victor, I think if you sit on Victor's ultimate, you get up there and damage as well. If
I think
you
Fiddlesticks
maneuver it.
Has the most potential. Maybe Gangplank if you run around and hit every single wall.
Yeah.
It'd be so hard to do, though.
We'll see what they decide to do. The simple fan out, once again, from Complexity Red. It's kind of like they have magnetic forces pushing them apart at the beginning of the game, and they set up this personal line of scrimmage to be sentries.
Played a little differently this time. Bubbadub starts with the ward and places at his own blue to see the invade coming out here. So they're going to go for a blue, and no matter what, they are going to run into Complexity Red unless they walk up to their red and Complexity Red walk into their own blue. So this is just, or Black walks into Red's blue. Just Complexity versus Complexity. We could just keep it like that. If Complexity does this, then Complexity...
Hey, we were right about who was going to win last game.
Oh, yeah.
Complexity.
Dang right. Got that one. Complexity will win this one, too.
We'll have to see. They may be able to bring it to a Game 3 against Complexity. Starting off in the top brush, it is going to be that late invade that you were talking about, Zyrene. Jezie, he'll be able to get himself out safely, but this is going to be a take. And hopefully, we'll see NK Inc. get himself over right quick.
This could be devastating, too, because it's just NK Inc. and Jezie over here on this side of the map. TP is available for Westrice. Jezie, once again, does not have that spell available. And if they invade about the 155 mark when it's getting started, they could actually have a majority of the damage from NK Inc. already on it, so Brokenshard can come up and steal it. But no, they go a little bit early, and they're going to see it, and the pings come out.
Yeah, they say we need to move quick. Q over the wall coming in from NK Inc. He starts off going for the red, and the blue will be taken out actually for Impactful and the rest. No, they don't stay to take it. They want that CS in the lane.
And they don't see that NK Inc. got himself to that red, picks it up, and now can he get out is the question, because we see that is where Brokenshard and Westrice are heading next.
Ruh-roh.
They're both level 1, though.
That was the wrong way. Does he have anything to get over the wall? Oh, I was thinking probably might actually give him the Q he needs, but he flashes and gets out very nicely. Also kind of playing a little bit of distraction, but Westrice, he's going to stay in that jungle and start farming up. We got the 2v1 again.
Yep, so he's going to go for the blue of Complexity Black, and that is actually still warded, so they're going to see this. And they could collapse on him, but there's nobody on that side of the map.
2v1 works out in their favor this time so far. They're on the better side for the swap indeed, and Complexity Black has played into it. They go for the swap to the top. We'll see what happens. Probably getting pushed into the mid lane, but same thing with Fragnatic, so they're not moving anytime soon. It's way too early for them even.
Yep.
As everybody starts to sort out, it does look like we get 3 to the top, and NK Inc. won't join the bottom.
It's 4
to the top. Yeah, wow.
Jezie just walks around with Brokenshard the first 2 levels, and then they show up both level 2 instead of Brokenshard being level 3 and him 1. And now, this one has that little extra resistances on it, but with that extra person,
there he is.
It's definitely worth it. And of course, Jezie's going to sit there, 0 CS. He is behind Westrice by a decent amount at this point, both in experience and in gold. And they're going to go ahead and power this turret down. I love this idea of 4v1ing the top lane because there's no teleport here. There's no way that Jezie could go ahead and teleport bottom. And oh my god, he could be caught here.
Long range level 1! He should not get out of this, but he is far enough away to get just in range of the turret to find solace. What a crazy play. But like you said, having the mind to send 4 up, and what they just saw where 3 people did not work. They get the 4 and they match turrets. Can they match the second one though? Because this is going to be big.
It's going to be a game of chicken coming out here. The Elise and Lee Sin, both great at pushing turrets. You have the Spiralings, you have the attack speed increase on both of them. They're going to get 2, but I think Complexity Red are as well. Yeah, it's a game of chicken. Who's going to back out first?
But Complexity Red has already pulled off a mid. Fragnatic knows he has to help a level 1 Jezie that actually didn't go to force the other lane down. So now they're actually playing a little off of the situation. Turrets go down on both sides, but will they decide to keep going?
They're going to rotate mid here and try to use Brokenshard to push this up. They have a decent minion wave here that has a cannon minion in it, so it has a lot of bulk to it. And if you throw out your Spiderlings, they will be prioritized, so there's even more HP in this wave. And Fragnatic went bottom to go ahead and clear that out, so the pressure was completely relieved.
Level 4 Fragnatic, like you said, being pressured out to the level 5 probably. If he hits 6 before Fragnatic in the mid lane, no matter what shield he has at that time, it'll be quick dead. 2 for Jezie going in, trying to put some pressure down on, and you can see that Brokenshard and the rest of the team are considering that's a fight they don't want, but it looks good.
And now they've gone even in terms of turret trades, which is great for Complexity Red. They adapted their strategy, and this is mainly because they were actually on the bottom side of the map in that lane swap this time, because they could not deal with those extra resistances on the turret in the top lane last time. Cost them dearly, and now they back off at the right time. Fragnatic gets pulled off, stays even in CS. despite leaving his lane.
And little do we know, this is probably how these guys scrim all the time. And they're just trying to figure out new ways to mix it up and figure out a different way to take down the next turret. Right now, it's still kind of the laning phase being broke very early and created for everyone here in the mid lane. Fragnatic stopped on backing, which shouldn't be too much more damage onto the turret. But Complexity Black has prepped that last, or it wouldn't be the last one, that middle outer turret to go down very soon.
SupportDaddy off on the side. He does have his flash and his stun available. They go ahead and get the lantern out. No engage.
I feel like he could have had that.
And the ward went down and they saw it coming.
Right. A little bit of a wait.
May not have been worth it at that point, but this middle turret is just the next thing Complexity Black sights. I don't know if it's going to be as accelerated of a game as last time. I don't think it's going to hit that. You know, it's Garrett. The laning phase is completely over. Now Westrice is going to farm bottom. He has his teleport available, so you can always join the fight. And that is just that constant looming pressure in the back of Complexity Red's mind. They don't have TP. Jezie has to be on top of his rotations if he wants to match Westrice, who has that summoner spell.
See ROBERTxLEE, a few steps, shoot, a few steps, shoot, keeping himself mobile as an AD carry and safe in front of the turret. You never want to just stand still. Easy pickings. 6:50 on the clock. Definitely had some kills in the previous game by this time, but a little bit slower now. See NK Inc. and Brokenshard trading off some CS there, buddy style. Still 2-2 in turrets. We saw the slowdown after the last time this happened, but Complexity Red is not in the position they were before. They're a lot better off.
Every time Complexity Red has a decent amount of gold, their inventories are stocked full of wards. They want to have vision, even when they're going even right now. I think they're playing as if they're behind, just mentally. They're behind in the series, not behind in the game. They're equal right now, but because they have so many wards, it may eventually take a toll on their inventories. You're kind of like, I bought 4 wards instead of completing my recipe.
Kind of like that playing not to lose situation.
Yeah.
You don't want to take too many chances, but you also don't want to lose.
And they have to make something of this vision too, but I don't know if they can push up to the dragon area before it's gone, because Complexity Black have complete control of it right now with the pink ward. And now, oh, Syndra's right there.
Right in the mouth. SupportDaddy, a good flash, gets himself out of that one. Bubbadub wasn't expecting that to happen, and neither was Probably. They try to get a little bit of ground there, but they are gaining ground still. Very nice deep wards going in the jungle of Complexity Red, and it looks like bottom may get a bit of focus after this dragon.
A little bit. Oh, Brokenshard runs straight in NK.
That's going to be a big back and forth fight. If he can get that last Q on, he's got to watch where the spiders are. Yep, could not get the right amount of damage in. You got to be very careful. We do see the Brokenshard is level 5, and now he hits level 6 and gets the update to his HP bar.
Wow. So that Q hitting the Spiderling instead of Brokenshard, that would have been the nail in the coffin for him. And instead, they pick up a double kill onto Jax. Westrice, amazing performance last game. Once again, highest CS, highest kills in this game. And impactful, he's in trouble. It's a level 6 Probably coming after you.
Making it happen for his team. Probably trying to throw down enough orbs to get the stun down. He flashes, he dashes. It's going to be enough.
Yeah, he still has barrier available to him as well.
Yeah.
And now they're going to start converging onto this dragon, setting it up. Brokenshard is rotating, most likely for it. But they do have that pink ward, and they're clearing things out.
SupportDaddy keeping everybody on the edge of their seat. Always an inch away from being grabbed by Bubbadub. But he keeps himself safe. 3 pink wards down across the bottom of the map there. It looks like they'll have the one in that bush for quite a long time. I'd be surprised if that didn't live to the last part of the game.
So Westrice has actually augmented his build. He went for the Blade of the Ruined King straight last time. Now he's picked up Machine after picking up the Vamp Scepter. So he's looking to chunk turrets as quickly as possible. Just walk up, empower, and like an auto attack, and then he's good. Get the Sheen, and that's all it'll take. Just do that, chunk it down bit by bit, and he'll be good to go. He's not looking to duel. He's looking to go for turrets.
Dashing over the ward. He knows Probably sees him, so they're going to be safe in this situation. Seeing that pink ward as well, Brokenshard took that Sonic Wave from NK Inc. They know there's a pink ward in the Pixel Brush, gets pinged out there as well. Bubbadub trying to make some moves and put wards down. Lots of pings in as they try to pinch this one. Fragnatic face to face.
Whoa!
All right, gets the flash out. Definitely wasn't sure if he wanted that fight or not, but in the end, it looks like he was trying to pull everything in.
Yeah, he was getting cornered.
The rest of the kill
from the Lee Sin. That was pretty much his only option in terms of escape routes. Chunking him down.
Very nice pullback. I was wondering if he was going to have the shield there. Yeah. Sometimes the ball does not make it as fast as the ace in the hole.
They got the shockwave, which means it's safe to go for the dragon now.
That's
because
true.
You don't have that AoE ultimate when you're all clumped up. Still the threat of Lee Sin stealing it, So it may not be 100% go time. And Westrice, his teleport is still unavailable for about 50 seconds.
This is such a crazy game, too. When you look down at the supports, I'm like, and SupportDaddy has Tibbers. No,
yeah.
It's level 4.
Nope.
It's level 4 at 10 minutes into the game, along with Bubbadub. You can just see where the CS is going, who is it being focused on. SupportDaddy a little too far ahead of the match there. Could have been grabbed out by Bubbadub, who just hit level 5. We'll see the rest of the team cleared out. Back to the mid lane, Zyrene. Gonna try to get down these turrets as the split push goes over to ROBERTxLEE and the top lane to Westrice.
So 1-3-1 split push here. Some damage onto that mid turret, so Complexity Black can go ahead and put some more on, but they decide it's Dragon time once again. Westrice backs, he will have his teleport up in 5 seconds here. Be good to go for the fight, whereas they do know where NK is, and they know the angle he will be trying to enter from.
If this fight begins, and it looks like Complexity Black has the lead, you can probably see that teleport down to the top lane, but it doesn't look like they need to do any of that. Dragon is quickly picked up by the smite of Brokenshard. True Shot Barrage just whizzing by. This is from Impactful here, 11 minutes, 40 seconds into the game. Complexity Black with the Game 1 win, using a bit of that momentum to put themselves back on top, but it looks like Complexity Red saw this coming, and it's been a lot slower for Black.
Yeah, it's not as dominating, but they still have their number. Those 2 kills in the top lane.
It's still Westrice getting going.
Oh yeah, that's the last person you want going on this team too. Doesn't matter if you get a Caitlyn fed, it's not something like a Vayne where you're like, oh no, she got past that bad early game, or a Tristana. And then in the mid lane, it's Syndra. Sure, she can blow people up, but you can always bury, you can always Zhonya's. Jax, on the other hand, massive at destroying turrets. Westrice has the teleport, so he has map pressure. And now, all those items in his inventory will be at the team fight every time. You see it all the time where a top laner is out of the fight and he's carrying something like 5,000 gold, 10,000 gold. You're like, oh, well, that was 10,000 gold that they didn't have in the fight. But Westrice is always going to be there, always going to be relevant, or he's going to push a turret and get your team even more gold. Just a constant threat looming.
Always have to think about those threats, which play on your mind. That threat also comes in with teleport as well, if it's Westrice from the top lane. 2,000 gold. He's really the one that we see with the item to be created now. ROBERTxLEE has been able to start charging up that Bloodthirster, which we didn't see last game because of such a short laning phase, but going for it this time.
Went for the Zerg Greaves. So he's going for a different build here. He's going for the split push farm. Go ahead and get that. Farm it up for himself to get more damage. And then Westrice, on the other hand, he's also going for another turret pushing strategy here. So Complexity Black between games, keeping the same strategy, but with minor tweaks. And because of the early game they got off to here, once again, 2K gold lead here.
Yeah. Able
to execute it again. And now it's on their shoulders to mess up or make a bad rotation, but their shot calling has been on point.
Tibbers now up for SupportDaddy, just taking stock since this game is so slow. Now we see the alts coming in for the supports. ROBERTxLEE up to level 8 with the rest of the team. Level 9 over on Jezie, but Westrice, again, level 10 in the game, trying to wreak havoc everywhere. Goes back, finishes up that Triforce for himself, so they got 2 core finished items. And again, Bubbadub going for the mobility boots in his build very fast. We saw SupportDaddy doing that last time.
Yeah, that's true. And you were talking about how it's a slow game.
Yep.
I always say this, when there's a 2v1 lane, it's either an extremely accelerated game or extremely decelerated game. So at that point where the turrets are down and are people going to keep pushing them, then it's like, oh, it's bloodbath. We're all going to get these just structures down. Or it's one of those games where we got the turrets, now everybody has to play safe. We're missing a 2 top lane, we're missing 2 bottom lane. We cannot overextend in these areas, let's freeze them, and we'll be okay and content with farming. And if you look at it, Westrice, once again, oh, he can duel Jezie right here.
Jezie throws on the Dominus right away, gets the Empower from Westrice. He does not like this fight with Dominus on, but that one hit shows him it's going to go in his favor. He's playing whack-a-mole. Jezie tries to get out of this one. SupportDaddy was there to do just that, and they waste out a pink ward. I say waste. They get it on their own side, so it's good, secure coverage. But right now, they are trying to keep themselves safe. SupportDaddy, I don't think he was going to get all the way hooked on there, but they definitely wanted to harass him a little bit.
So Jezie's kill potential is very low now, especially up against somebody like Westrice. He blew his Ignite, blew his Dominus, so Westrice is free to push with no answer. And he's 2 levels up, too.
Let's see what they can produce here in the mid lane. Again, the split push coming in. The pink ward was cleared out in the bottom lane, but I think it was just replaced. Canceled.
This is one of those moments on voice comm where it's like, go top, and it's like, well, I can't go top by myself. He's going to kill me.
Yeah. That's when it gets hard. Voice comms start to get quiet is a dangerous thing, especially if that's your shot caller, because they don't want to make the wrong call. They don't want to make anybody else on the team feel like it's going wrong. Westrice now into the top lane, and Jezie still has to take that into control for himself. Not doing too bad, is able to push off Westrice, and we'll see if the team converges on that teleport position. Like we were saying last time, if the fight goes somewhere else, they're going to get surprised by Westrice again.
So Brokenshard's coming around the side here. Impactful is about less than half HP. And this turret is ripe for the taking. Brokenshard can go ahead and clear this wave. The NK Inc to try and defend, it's the only person here. This turret is going to take some damage. It's pretty much inevitable that's going to go down.
Oh. No. I was going to say, if you don't do it when the turret's up, you're not going to do it when the turret's down.
If you do...
The whole team is there. We've seen some decisions that make you scratch your head, and sometimes they blow your mind.
Oh!
Mind blown.
It's a choice.
It is a choice.
It's a choice.
Everybody has it. 16:30 in here. Complexity Red trying to get a bit back. NK Inc trying to get himself a kill, but Brokenshard almost 2v1ing a level 10 and a level 8 by himself at his own lonesome Ocho. Pragmatic flashes the box damage. Very nice, but Westrice gets himself in and he's kicked out of the fight. They say, no way, Jose. Get yourself out of here. The turret's finally going to go down in mid. Maybe. They prepped enough damage, but they actually can't get past Jezie.
That big wall there. Westrice 2 levels up. The AD carries both 10 above the junglers who are 8 on either side. Now, just so close. 4 turrets to 2 now. 4K gold lead for Complexity Black. Dragon is up in 15 seconds.
Yep.
They'll be able to rotate down there, but they have to back because those low HP bars.
Does Red have the timer on it? And this is where it becomes awesome when you have just that lane ward up at the turret once they take the turret down or near the turret, because you would have seen the entire team backing. Just a thing to point out. Little tips and tricks. See a lot of people doing that, just throwing down the lane wards. Jezie trying to clear out what's happening here in the top lane. Doesn't have too much pressure, but he needs to get more for himself. 30 CS behind, still looking to finish out a core item. He's been forced into home guard ninja tabis to stave off aggression on that turret.
Yeah, he has to. Westrice is going to continue to push it. He has the teleport, so he can always show up to the fight. And right there, we saw Impactful use his True Shot Barrage, his ultimate, to try and see where the dragon was. And then they're like, all right, we have to set up wards now. So there's one in the pit, one over there with the pink to try and clear others out. Now...
Oh, very close.
He can't get out.
Oh, maybe he can, but he's still stuck when he does. Oh, there's the Q-secute.
Oh, here comes the TP for Westrice.
It is going to be towards that top side. Everybody has already started to disengage. Well, actually, they're chasing, and Westrice is trying to re-engage. Get into the fight. Gets the counter-strike up. Gets SupportDaddy on that one after they already take down one. Ace in the hole is flashed, as probably cannot get a follow-up stun, but Westrice gets the flash and leap and strike and double kill.
And he's a monster.
And is a monster right now. 6-0, 19 minutes into the game, Zyrene. Complexity Black really making some moves. Like we said, it's going to be a good fight, but you got to worry about the teleport.
They're going to go for another Baron at 18 minutes here. We see him going, he barely misses it, and then he just gets hooked up, locked up, CC'd, and they take him out the kick to try and disengage, but Brokenshard is already there, and Westrice is coming with the teleport into the back line. So they start disengaging. The slow here from ROBERTxLEE with the 90 caliber net to slow Pragmatic makes him the perfect target to jump on from Brokenshard with the cocoon afterwards and Westrice in the follow-up. They just clean up the fight from there, and Westrice, of course, he has his flash available and the leap strike to go ahead and clear up the fight. And the Baron goes over to Complexity Black.
I love how Jezie somehow got out of that fight with just running off to under Dragon. They're like, please don't remember that I was here. 20 minutes in, Complexity Black making a very strong case for this playoff win here in a best-of-3 versus their sister team Red. As they approach the turret, they know they have enough power to contest. The ultimate goes out. ROBERTxLEE not in a great spot. Can't get on it. He can't get the Lantern. He needs to flash out of this guy. Keeps himself safe, blowing both summoners.
It was so close. It's just like, click it, click it. There's a ball there. Click it, click it. Ah.
We'll see.
Gets himself out safely. Yep. They do exchange a kill for on into a jungler, though. NK Inc gets picked up. They lose a turret for it. But that is the least of Complexity Black's worries because they're going to go ahead and answer in kind.
What?
Oh!
That was a really nice shockwave, but we just saw that SupportDaddy backed in the eyes of Complexity Black. Coming back now with home guards on. That was a little bit of pressure that they should not have received with him backing Envision.
So there's a top lane turret that's being pressured right now. Complexity Red will most likely get it dropped down just from minions and just the barrage up there eventually. But at the same time, they have a minion wave. going up that bottom, too. It's just all over. There's a lot of pressure on Complexity Black's base because they've been in middle just all game long.
Man, I feel bad when I'm missing that many minions. I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. The chaos of this game just keeps everybody in a different mindset, quickly going to clear out that bottom wave. It's almost been depleted by the turret and the minions. A little bit of a chase here for ROBERTxLEE. You don't chase him. Dexter found that out on Eve. ROBERTxLEE and his traps in a chase are deadly.
Oh, yeah. I like that he is throwing them down in combat, too.
Yeah.
Just all the time. We saw it last game. It was like a binding into a trap.
Remember, if I haven't played Caitlyn for a really long time, it'll pretty much not put down a trap in laning phase, almost forget I have him. Yeah. It's an easy thing to fall into.
And setting up the traps in the correct positions, too, like the choke points or the places that you know people are going to walk over when they retreat, are huge. But now, still 0 kills on the board for Complexity Red, but they are even in turrets. Which just means that they've been rotating the spots that Complexity Black have been leaving open for them. Meanwhile, in Westrice land, he's just fine. He's like, I'm going to push this. I'm 4-0-1. I am 3 levels higher than Jezie right now, and I have 2 completed items. Oh, a little early there.
He's budging in front of the minion wave, getting himself in trouble. Another turret down in the top lane. A bit of that attack speed steroid from NK Inc.'s own ability and passive. And that essence coming out of Ezreal.
Bubbadub taking tower shots.
Taking quite a shot. Bubbadub not in a good spot. Jezie steps on a trap as he throws down Dominus. He gets exploded, even with the extra HP stats on him. And it looks like Fragnatic could get the leap here. Grandmaster goes on for Westrice, but he's not going to be able to throw down any lamp strikes. It looks like they are able to get the inhibitor here. A few more shots. They want some kills right now, Zyrene. They do not want that inhibitor just yet. It finally goes down after the kill. They're just trying to get it simultaneously. It looks like they could close out the game with 3 kills on the board.
And 0 for Complexity Red. Unless they give up something right here, it's going to be a complete shutout in that regard.
Possible champion shutout. Maybe the first one I've seen. 11 kills on the game right now. Some low HP bars. SupportDaddy tries to get in. Gets hit out. Also gets cocooned up in that one. Still trying to get himself in. Actually got hit up by Scatter the Weak from Prolly. And the Nexus is going down. Complexity Black looks to take the playoffs here versus Complexity Red, their sister team. Another kill going down onto Jezie. They are trying to get the batting order to come up once again, but they are not going to. A 2 clean game sweep for Complexity Black versus their sister team, Red.
0-12 in kills in favor of Complexity Black. Sub 23 minutes by about 4 seconds. 2 of the fastest back-to-back games we have ever seen in the Challenger Series against sister teams. Like Complexity Black knew their strategy from the start and just played it to a T. 0 kills. I cannot stress how impressive that is.
Okay.
In the Challenger Series.
Speechless there for a second. Hang on. And words to say. What an amazing game that both of those teams just played. There weren't, I'll say it, horrendous mistakes, because there weren't. Both teams outplayed each other at positions, but every time that Complexity Red outplayed Black, it was only to slightly get back from what Black had already achieved. And that was the whole game. When you're always a few rungs down on the ladder, the other team's going to get there first.
Oh, yeah. And the Orianna, they put a lot on Fragnatic's shoulders. Even though Fragnatic and Prolly were pretty much almost a non-factor in both of these games, it was really the Jezie and I don't know, it's Westrice Brokenshard combo up against Jezie and NK Inc. And how that was played out in the rotation and how that played out in the strategy too. Because I loved the fact that Brokenshard and Westrice were sharing experience to get both of them level 2. Because the typical strategy is our jungler will be 3 and our top laner will be 1. You shared some experience, but then they both go to that 2v1 lane. Yeah, it's like, oh, 4-on-1? Ha! Let's see you fight that. You can't. There's just no way.
They had a good idea with it, too, with the frenzy on Elise and whatnot.
Yeah.
They made their move. But with the first day of the NA quarterfinals done, let's take a look at those hopes, the LCS hopes that are still alive. Starting at the bottom of the bracket, it's tonight's victors, Complexity Black, and their semifinal opponents, Cloud9 Tempest. They will face off next Saturday, April 12th, with a berth in the Summer Promotion Tournament on the line.
And tomorrow we will see the top side of the bracket in action as Curse Academy takes on VVV Gaming for the right to face LMQ in the semis.
But before we get to the Challenger Series, the pros take to the Rift for the second day of Super Week. Kicking off the 6 games is the fight between XDG and Team Dignitas. And rounding out the action is the battle for first place. It's Erickson and Team Solo Mid versus Meteos and Cloud9.
That's going to be a great one. And immediately following the last blast of the Nexus, the Challenger playoffs continue with Curse Academy taking on VVV Gaming. And remember, the games start at 12 noon Pacific Daylight Time, 9 p.m. Central European Summertime.
That they do, and we're going to turn out the lights here after an epic day in the NALCS and the Challenger Series playoffs. But before we go, I want to say thanks again to our friends at Coca-Cola. Now for myself, Zyrene, and the entire live broadcast crew, thanks for watching. Good night.